breakdown. So, if you are a member of Mad Mike membership, then you're probably watching this video at this time. Kind of want to give a quick breakdown. Don't want to be too long with this, but I've started my breakdown on the quarterback prospects coming out of this year's draft, 2025. And the first one that I decided to kind of focus on is Jaxson Dart. Now, this guy put up a lot of numbers this year. All right, make no mistake about it. He put out a lot of numbers. Playing at Ole Miss, ranked fairly high for the most part as far as the offense is concerned. So they have a very effective offense, and he was a main contributor to that offense. And the things that I've kind of focused on and seen with this guy that I think is very interesting. Obviously, there's some strengths and some weaknesses, but from what I've seen from Jaxson Dart, he has potential. And let me just get in the list. All right. So you can see the list of the things that I've seen in here. First thing that I've seen, just look at the size. He has the ideal size to be able to be an NFL quarterback. I don't think anybody can deny that. But the thing that I've seen right off the bat that jump off to me, y'all already know. If you don't know, now you know. It's the RPO. I'm not a fan of the RPO. I think it makes quarterbacks slow and mechanical. I think it's a poor way to kind of get young quarterbacks acclimated in the NFL. That's the worst part about it. Now, there are some good things as far as, being able to throw screens, to be able to get the ball out of hand quickly. But when it comes down to processes and going through your reads, the RPO is probably one of the worst things that ever happened to the NFL quarterback and just quarterbacks in general. For me personally, when I look at Jaxson Dart, again, guy has a lot of tools for the most part, but just everything, just his delivery, everything is just slow and mechanical. And one of the worst things for a quarterback in the NFL, the quarterback is filled with some of the greatest athletes. All right. You have the best of the best athletes, especially with these DBs. I mean, we've seen it with the Atlanta Falcons when guys have, quarterbacks have stared down receivers. They become, we saw with Kirk Cousins this year, where Kirk Cousins got really, he got in the habit, largely due to the fact that, he lost a lot of confidence, but, you throw some injuries and whatnot in there. Kirk did struggle as far as becoming slow and mechanical. And again, in the NFL, this is the worst thing that you want for a quarterback. Your career could be over really fast if you end up being slow and mechanical. And that's the first thing when I look at Jaxson Dart. He has a tendency to continuously turn to the right side, throw to the right side. And then the backside for me, when he's slow and mechanical, when he turns to the left, his blind side, he's a right-handed quarterback. So when he turns to his left, he gets extremely mechanical, and he can't necessarily see. So, and he kind of throws some blind passes at times. So the first thing that came off for me with Jaxson Dart, he's slow and mechanical. Reaction time, for the most part for a quarterback, is about 2.5 seconds. There has been instances in the pocket where there's no rush and there's immediate rush. And Jaxson Dart is in no hurry to get the ball out of his hands. And we know, and we've seen this time and time again, guys like Grady Jarrett, the former great legend who just now retired, and Aaron Donald. These guys are the best of the best when it comes down to using their hands and getting to the backfield quickly. So for a quarterback to not have that timing in his head where he has to get the ball out within about 2.5 seconds. This could be extremely troublesome for him, which leads to the third thing that I said. Yeah, he has a big arm. Yeah, he has the athleticism, but again, going right back to this RPO, the RPO for me is it slows down the quarterback's processing. Everything. When I look at a quarterback, and when you look at a quarterback when he plays, the first thing and the most important thing is to be able to trust what you see. And for Jaxson Dart, he sees, but if he doesn't trust what he's seeing, he has a tendency to stand still and stay still, and he slows down and he stands in the spot. And again, in the NFL, you gotta have quick feet. You gotta be able to decipher and to see and decide what you're seeing. You have to make a quick decision. And one of the most bothersome thing when I look at Jaxson Dart is he doesn't necessarily do that. He slows down. He slows down and he stares down receivers. And again, those are the things that, if you remember, Desmond Ridder, Marcus Mariota for the Atlanta Falcons. These guys, when they don't trust what they see, they normally rely on their athleticism, their ability to run. And Jaxson Dart, when you look at his athleticism, he's a pretty fast dude. But the thing is, I don't think he has the necessary quickness to be able to be an elite or a great rusher. He does have the size. He does have a big arm. He throws the ball down the field quite well. And that's one thing about the Ole Miss. Then they definitely press the ball downfield, and that's something that Jaxson Dart definitely has. But his athleticism, he has straight line speed for the most part. So it's like in the NFL, when you got these guys like Grady Jerry, you got these guys like Jeffrey Simmons and whatnot. These guys are big, quick, and they can change direction fast. So if you're a quarterback, you have straight line speed. You can't go move side to side like a Lamar Jackson. These guys are going to get you. So for me, Jaxson Dart, for the most part, has a lot of issues concerned. But where would I draft and where would he end up for the most part? I think he'll probably be one of these the project players in the NFL. And for the most part, I don't really necessarily see that he's going to be a starter in the NFL. I think he's a career backup. I think he could, if he goes to the right team and the right system, he could quite possibly be a starter because, again, he has the size, he has the athleticism, he has the arm. He definitely has the arm. But a lot of people will probably say he reminds him of a guy like Drake May. I could see that on a lower scale, but I can also see the fact that he could quite possibly be like a Josh Allen type. Again, not a lot of athleticism, but he has the ability to break tackles. He's a big quarterback. He uses his size, and he uses his size well in the running game. When he's at that goal line, he can, he put his shoulder down and he can, he can make some things happen with his feet. Look at his numbers for this past season. Obviously, he has some good numbers for the last couple of years with Ole Miss. And then you look at yards, passes for 4,000 yards, even in college. That's a great thing. 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So it's a good touchdown interception ratio. And then you look at his rush yards, nearly 500 yards rushing for a quarterback. That's damn good, right? Not a lot of rushing touchdowns, but this kid definitely has the ability to make some things happen, push the ball downfield. I think he has a lot of concerns as far as being able to go through his progressions properly, being able to speed up his processing. One of the things you look at with the Atlanta Falcons, Michael Penix, is that he has a ability to process information quickly, be able to go through his progressions. That's when you know you have something special with a young quarterback, when he can go through his progressions. You can see his head moving. When he's going through his progressions, he doesn't lock in on his targets for the most part, Michael Penix. But when you look at a Jaxson Dart, he has a tendency to kind of lock into an area. And in quite a few games that I've seen, he locks in, and a lot of defensive linemen tend to get their hands up, and bat a lot of passes down that could also lead to interceptions. So Jaxson Dart, for the most part, like I said, what I would give him, the grade on him personally is about a second round to late draft. He's definitely a project player. If I were the Atlanta Falcons, if I were a team, maybe I would say a Raiders team, I would definitely take a look at him in the third or fourth round. The Raiders are definitely going to be looking for another quarterback for the most part. I think we all know that. So it wouldn't, for me, if I were the Raiders and I was serious about having a quarterback, I would draft a guy like Jaxson Dart, put the right quarterback and coaches around him so you can help develop him. So we have more than just one insurance policy. Jaxson Dart is definitely one of those guys that I would draft somewhere in the 4th to 7th round. I mean, if you have a couple of extra picks and you can take a chance, then I would draft him somewhere in the 2nd and 3rd round also. But looking at this, Jaxson Dart definitely has the physical makeup to be able to be a quality quarterback if properly developed. And that's the thing. If properly developed, he's going to need about 2 to 4 years to kind of find his way in the NFL. Got to speed up his processing, but for the most part, he definitely has the skill. He has the size, big arm. He's extremely athletic for a guy that size. He can definitely push the ball downfield, make the big throws downfield to the wide receiver. So that's a good thing. But like I said, if you're looking at the negatives from him, the processing speed for him, got to speed up his internal clock. And 2, you got to work on his footwork. Don't necessarily like his footwork for the most part. He kind of has a tendency to get stationary. So again, for everybody who's going to see this and who tuned in for this from the Mad Mike membership, continue to support your boy here, Mad Mike. It's just $1.99. I'm going to continuously do these prospects throughout the off season until the draft. So if you guys enjoyed this has been your boy Mad Mike, man. That's all I got to say about that, and that's the bottom line, because Mad Mike said so. NFL prospect Jaxson Dart. Leave your comments below. I'm out here, man. Peace.